All right, everybody, welcome to the Flipside. I'm Sam, and you have stumbled upon a series, another episode in a series that I like to call It Belongs in a Museum, to which you should dutifully reply, so do you, because sometimes I feel like I do, but at the same time, it's just a quote from a movie, Indiana Jones to be exact. Anyway, this is a series where we are going to be taking a look at a couple of games that are in my collection that are at least 5 years old or older, and we're going to talk about them. So this is kind of like just to throw off everybody else's focus upon the brand new, and the not even out yet that most content creators focus on. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be focusing on a couple of older games that I feel like, I believe, should have the limelight once again, for whatever reason. Luke Shirus is here. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Did you ever decide what constitutes a classic game? Well, to answer that question, no, I didn't know it was still up for debate. Classic as a category qualifiers. Nope. As a qualification, maybe would be a better. Okay, it literally says, well, AI says, classic as a category qualification is not a universal single standard. It varies significantly depending on the context, such as for cars, books, or competitive events like bodybuilding or sports. Qualification usually involves a combination of age, condition, historical significance, and recognition by an authoritative body. So for classic cars, basically has to be 25 years or older and in good condition, true to its original design. For books, a classic book is a book that is widely accepted as being exemplary or particularly noteworthy, usually having stood the test of time since its original publication. I think that's a good... I don't know that board games would or could be classified or even should be thrown into the same boat as like books and literature, but that's a pretty good definition of classic in my opinion. Classic is a book that is widely accepted as being exemplary or particularly noteworthy, usually having stood the test of time since its original publication. A classic game is a game that is more than 10 years old and you can still buy its original form unmodified. Okay. Let's do this. What qualifies as a classic board game? A classic board game is one that has stood the test of time, widely recognized and is either foundational to its genre or has a reputation for being high quality and enduring. Qualities include a strong, lasting design, often with simple rules, and a significant impact on later games. Examples range from traditional games like chess, checkers, to more modern classics like Catan and Ticket to Ride. Again, and I think this is one of the things here, is that while there are phrases like stands the test of time and so forth, there, at least in this AI summary, there is no mention of a length of time. Now, there are traditional historical classics, and then there are modern classics. It does break it up into two different things. Modern classics include Catan, Carcassonne, and Ticket to Ride. Traditional classics are games such as chess, checkers, and Go. I'm happy with this definition. I don't want, maybe it's just a personal thing, but I don't want to put a number of years onto it. Let's see here. Not all classic games are good. Maybe you don't like them, but that doesn't mean they aren't good. And I say that all the time, and I think it's a trap that a lot of, as far as gamification is concerned, I think that's a term. But you know, the study behind gameology or what have you. Sure, there can be objectifiably, or you can have a group of mechanisms that could be considered objectively bad. I can understand that. That doesn't mean that it is a bad game. It just means that it is not according to the standards of, because people may still enjoy it. Good is subjective. It is opinion based when we're talking about board games. And I understand that people will disagree with me on that, but that's fine. It's an open-handed issue. It's not close-handed. I'm not going to die on this hill, blah, blah, blah. It's how I look at games. Because, and frankly, one of the reasons why I look at games this way is because of how can I say this? One of the reasons I view board games in this way is because of how staunchly elitist people have been towards me in the past. And I kind of refuse to cave into that. That's just the way it is. Just because you don't like a game and you don't have fun with it doesn't mean that it is a bad game for me. I think it's a good game. And just because somebody else has said that it is a bad set of rules, whatever. I can still enjoy it. I can still have fun. And there are other people out there that can still enjoy it and have fun. And to them, it's a good game. This ideology doesn't transfer over to other areas of life, however. I do often believe in many situations that there is an objective good and there is an objective bad. But I think with something like this, there's too many exceptions to the rule, so to speak. According to your definition, I thought of a lot of games from my childhood. Yeah. Not all classic games are good. I disagree. I'm not saying that they all are good. But I'm also saying that they're not necessarily bad just because they're classic. Classic board game to me would be games that everyone knows exists. Well, there's a lot of 100% statements in that, Scott. So it's that's a difficult game. That's a difficult definition to quantify because a classic board game to me would be games that everyone knows exist. So if I find one person, and I know I'm being semantic, but if I find one person or if I find a group of people that have been in a deep, dark forest somewhere for the last 20 years and they don't know that that game exists, doesn't mean that it isn't a classic game. Formula 408, sometimes you get an AMC Gremlin. It's classic, but oof. Okay, I can see that. Modern classic would be the lesser known games. Maybe, but I'm sure there are places on the earth that we could go and they haven't ever seen a game of Go or a game of chess or a game of checkers because they've had no opportunity to do that. I can imagine that happening. I mean, French fries. Everybody knows what French fries are, right? Not necessarily. Modern classic, let's see. We had a Pacer, which is the same as a Gremlin. I love the roomy backseat as a kid. 408, I agree. People play games different for different reasons, so that influences what a person thinks is good or bad. There you go. You get it, Formula 408. You get it. All right. So let's go ahead and get to it. Now, I already explained what we do here before that very intrusive question from Luke. Oh my gosh. So annoying, Luke. Just kidding. Anyway, I already explained what we do here. Now we're going to explain how we do it. We're going to talk about two different games. And we're going to allow you to guess what each of those games are after I give you a couple of clues. And the first person to guess correctly what game we're about to talk about will get a prize. And I will send them a prize. They will, and that prize will be something that's board game related. It could be a brand new game in shrink. It could be a game that I'm getting rid of out of my collection. It could be a board game accessory of some kind that I thought was cool at some point in time, and now I don't have a use for it anymore. And it may be anything, but it'll probably be board game related, and we'll throw in a couple of stickers as well. So, with that having been said, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's see here. My wife and I are talking about culling our collection, Scott says, to about half its current number. It's going to be difficult to choose which games will go because we agreed we don't own any bad games. That is pretty cool. All right. So let's go ahead and get to it. The first game we're going to talk about hails from the year 2018. 2018 is the year that this game hails from. It was published in 2018. So that's your first clue. Go ahead and you can use Google Foo or BGG Foo or whatever Foo you want to try to figure this out. But the first clue is that it was published in 2018. Then I'm going to give you a couple of mechanisms. And those mechanisms are going to be that it has a solo solitaire game and it is push your luck. So it has push your luck as a mechanism and it has a solo solitaire game also as a mechanism. So those are your two clues. You can go ahead and use BGG or Google and try to figure out what game I or we rather, are going to talk about first. Luke says, I don't envy your challenge. I guess I would remove lesser versions of games that are very similar first. That's a good way to put it. Luke says, The Reckoners. No. Alex says, tiny epic zombies. That is incorrect. Formula 408 says, Quacks with a question mark? Come on, say things with confidence. Quacks of Quedlinburg. And by the way, it's not Quacks. Because I don't own Quacks. I don't even own Quacks of Quedlinburg, although I do enjoy that game a lot. I really dislike the new look of it. And I'm not going to own that new look. Luke says, Small Islands. Alexander says, Robin Hood and the Merry Men. So does Tom. Scott Drew says, Asteroid Field. Alexander Melgrim, Renegade. Unbroken. Are those games? I mean, of course it's not going to be it because I'm having to look it up. So I already have it looked up. Renegade Victory Point games. Oof. Richard Wilkins. That looks very not fun. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is, but it doesn't look like very fun. Unbroken? Gold belt. Now that looks not fun. Survive the darkness of the underworld as a lone survivor of a monster attack. Interesting. Grazing sheep, no. Lost in the woods, no. Lock picks, no. Bargain hunter, no. Pewty white, huh? The grizzled armistice edition, no. Pewty white again. 278th Squadron, the same 4 cats, no. Grazing sheep, no. Well, we won't belabor it. I do like you guys to go ahead and churn out a lot of guesses, but somebody has already guessed it correctly, and that is Mr. Luke Shiras, Small Islands from 2018. Now, this is a recent acquisition for me and Jess. We were over in Umpqua, and we were at a store called the Cole Street Game Vault, and great looking store. I was only there for about 45 minutes, so I don't know how good of a store it is as far as how it engages the community and all that other kind of stuff. I have heard some positive things about them, but just based on my recommendation for you to go check it out if you're ever in Enumclaw. I know it's like, off the beaten path, but if you're ever there, go check them out. That's based solely upon a 30 to 45 minute visit. Not a lot of other than that, but they look like they're a good store. The owner was a nice individual and kept his place clean. So those are all good things for me. That I would want to return. I'll put it that way. So Small Islands, I picked this up based on the back of the box. The back of the box basically shows a Carcassonne-esque type playing experience, and Jesse and I really enjoy tile placement. We really enjoy it a lot, and after having played through it a bit, we really enjoy this. I have not yet tried the solo mode. That's something I might be doing this week, but this is something that, another thing that it said is it's an excellent 2-player game, and that's a big plus for me as well. So this is from Lucky Duck Games and Mushroom Games. So we picked this up, and it's pretty interesting. So let's get down to the table, and we will take a look. While we are taking a look, yeah, we just played it. I didn't play this solo, though. We just played it live, yeah. but we didn't play it. I didn't play it solo. But anyway, Luke Shirus, you need to either give your winnings away to someone else or claim it as your own and shoot me an email. Either way, whomever does get the, whether it is Luke or if he gives it away to somebody else, you need to email me at flipsideobg@gmail.com. I just put that into the chat for you. And you need to let me know what your shipping information is so that whomever is going to be receiving the prize, I'll be able to send that out to you by the end of the week, hopefully. We'll definitely try to get back on top of it because we're free and clear right now, but as far as I know, yeah. All right, let's get down to the table and take a look. Oops. Oh, Luke was being cheeky. He switched to absurd game titles after that guess. Yes, well. All right, so this is Small Islands. This is the box. Beautiful artwork by Ariel Guarino and Alexis Allard is the designer. And I recognized his name on something else that JT just put up on one of his, I can't remember the name of the game now, but so this is an author's name that I did not know when I bought this game, but his name has showed up on other games since then. So anyway, anywho, this is what we're doing here. So Small Islands, this is the rule book. You have your component list here, and basically we just do a real quick unboxing, basically. One of the things that I did like about this is that there is an advanced mode in the game, and it breaks apart those advanced mode rules in these little navy blue boxes. And so whenever you see these navy blue boxes, you know that they are advanced game rules, not base game rules. And so I thought that was an interesting graphic design choice that they made. And then you also have these green boxes that are information that you need to know for the game as far as placement is concerned, placement of tiles, placement of bonus tokens, and then placement of houses. So I thought that was pretty cool. Important information is brought out in these red boxes. And again, you have more of those advanced rules throughout the game. So I just thought that was an interesting thing. So solo mode goes through. You have tile placement rules for Alexis. And again, you have that green box. I just think that's a great tie together of everything. And then examples are in yellow. I think that's all the way through. Yep, example. So I think that's, I don't know, that made reading the rule book much easier for me. I like it when companies do that, so I wanted to point it out. So again, you have all of this stuff, and then you also have a summary here on the back of the book, so you don't have to keep the book open, and so forth and so on. So that is the game. Now, as far as that's concerned. So what's going to happen, first of all, is that you're going to have a beginning setup. And the beginning setup has to do with these 3 tiles. I thought there were 4. Maybe there are. Yep, there are. There are 4 tiles. And you can set this up. Basically, the person who's able to go first, who is chosen randomly to go first, is going to put these together in some kind of configuration that matches. So we could do something like this, and then something like that. So it could be, this could be your starting configuration. You know what I'm saying? Or that wouldn't work. But maybe this is your starting configuration. Whatever you want. Somebody at the table basically has to build the starting configuration, and these are all double-sided, okay? So let's just say that we're going to do something like this. All right, so that's our starting configuration, okay? So basically what you're going to be doing, you see that you have these little dotted squares here on the different islands. What that basically means is that that's a place where a house can go. And houses are going to be scored for in a couple of different ways. The first way that they're going to be scored basically in the basic game is that you're going to have these objective cards out there. And basically what this means is, how many times can I say the word basically? Golly, choose a different word, dude. Anyway, generally speaking, see, I changed it. This side of the card is going to tell you what the minimum requirements of the island in order for you to be able to put one of your houses on it. And it could be that this basic requirement applies to multiple islands that are out there. And what this will do is it'll tell you, for example, on this card, you have to have at least 2 ports that are adjacent to it, and then it has to have at least 1 each of these symbols. 1 flower, 1 pomegranate, 1 leaf. All right, so for example, let's see if I can make it. Okay, let's say that this was what part of the starting setup, and then we'll put this one over here. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah, we'll put this one like this. This is gonna be our starting setup, okay? So, with this starting setup, there's a leaf, there's a pomegranate, there's a flower, and there's 2 ports. So you could place one of your houses in the rewards phase. There's 4 different phases. Anyway, I haven't got there. You'd be able to place your houses there. And for every island, because you can only place 1 house on each island. Every island that you're able to place that has this, you get to score 6 points. Or you have stuff like this. This one has more leaves than it does flowers. So for example, this same island here has 2 leaves and it only has 1 flower. So this would suffice. You're going to get 1 point for every leaf plus 2. So if I place a house on this with this card, I get 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Okay? And there's a whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? That I think there's 12 altogether for the basic game. Now, the advanced game has these little guys right here. And there are 2 sets. You have these guys, which are basically the islands that you can place it on, and then you have these guys, which are the points that you're going to get for placing these islands. And you're going to have a number of cards up here, so maybe with these 2 cards, I'll be able to go with something like, I'll have, an island that has more pomegranates than leaves, and then I'm going to score 1 point for whichever one of these that has the most of it, plus 2. Or I'm going to use this one right here that has more flowers than pomegranates, and I'm going to score 2 points for whichever one of these that it has the least of, plus 2. All right, so the advanced game basically just kind of puts the combinations into your hands rather than making them such that they are like these, where they are static. So that's basically what the advanced game does. Now, on your turn, you also have these ships out here, and if in a 2-player game, 2 of them are going to be turned over to be grayed out. But in a 4-player game, you're going to have all of them, and so forth. So, first things first is that what happens here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to take 6 tiles and put it out here. And that's the tiles that everybody is going to, you're going to be replenishing the row with. Everybody starts with 2. So on your turn, you're going to, and then, oh my goodness gracious. And then there is, I'm actually setting this up. Good night. Like so. All right, so on your turn, you have 2 in your hand to start with. You're going to draw 1. Let's say I want to take this one for whatever reason. I don't know what it would be. And then I can take one of the 3 tiles that I have in my hand and place it out there on the board. So maybe I want to do something like this. Okay, and then this comes out here and replaces. This is actually supposed to be turned over like so. And then it's the next person. They're going to do the same thing. Once all of these are gone, there's a second thing that you can do on your turn, and that is land your ship. When you land your ship, it has to be placed out there in such a way that all of the sides match. So basically right now, this is the only place that one of the ships can land. What that's going to do is that's going to end the exploration phase, and then you go into the rewards phase where you start taking your houses and actually placing them out there. The person who lands a ship, not necessarily theirs, is going to be able to go first. And basically, you're going to be accumulating points in the form of these tokens. And whoever has the most points after 4 rounds is the winner. It's actually a really fun thing. It's interesting in a couple of different ways. The most significant way for me is that it has the same mechanism as Carcassonne, but it feels nothing like Carcassonne. Because when you first looked at it, and honestly, I was guilty of this as well, I thought, Carcassonne type game. And only because it shares the same mechanism as tile placement. That's really the only similarity between Carcassonne and this game. How you score, what you score for, all of that is different. So if you enjoy tile laying as a mechanism, I would highly recommend this. Only because it has a very strong connection, so to speak, to that genre, but it does so in such a way that is different than the other games in that genre, as far as scoring is concerned. So I don't know. There's a whole lot of different configurations on the tiles and such. Let me make sure that these get put back like so. Let me make sure these go differently because they're set up. So there's a lot of different, all of these are only single-sided, but there's a lot of different configurations for the different tiles. The ports are going to be points at the end of the game for all of the ports around your ship in the 8 tiles around your ship. So for example, if this is where your ship has landed, let's see if I can put this together real quick. Like that, and then maybe that doesn't work. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do this. Let's just do that. And then we can do this. And then we could do that. I don't know. Yeah, that works. And then I don't know. Maybe he just didn't get. Maybe that was not bad. And then oh, that doesn't work. Who knows? Maybe he'll be able to. Oh, nope. That doesn't work. Let's do this maybe. I don't know. You get the idea. But anyway, your ship here is going to be in, and then you look at the 8 tiles that are around it at the end of the game, And for every port that is adjacent to your ship, you get a point for it at the end of the game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points here. So that just determines maybe a good idea, maybe not, to be careful with where you place your ship at the end of, or rather during the game, so that you are able to score a lot of points at the end of the game for it. But that's basically it. It's really an interesting game. I've really enjoyed it so far. I am very much looking forward to giving the solo mode a try this week, so that I can really get kind of a full grasp of it. But that is Small Islands. Bloop. All right, let's see here. Welcome to, yes, that Welcome to the Moon is the one that JT put on his essentials list. I think that last configuration was illegal. Thanks, appreciate it. Now I'm keeping a track of every. Don't do it. Formula 408. Have you checked out, man? Kind of like how everyone thinks hex tile games are just like Catan. Yeah. Roads between hexes means sweet lands is essentially Catan. Yeah, that's right. Do you like it better than Carcassonne? Well, here's the thing. Carcassonne has that comfort food feeling at this point. They're just, you can set up a game and just play. You don't have to teach rules anymore, generally speaking. I know that there's going to be times where you're going to have to teach rules, but generally speaking, there might be a refresher or something, but you can generally just start playing. So I think it's more interesting than Carcassonne. I'll put it that way. But I don't know yet if I think I like it better than Carcassonne. So there you have it. If you get the opportunity to try this, however, I highly recommend it. If you like tile placement, I think you'll enjoy it. All right. All right. It does seem more interesting. Well, I think it is. All right. Looks like Formula 408 has ducked out. I don't think they're around any longer. That's unfortunate, because it looks like they were going to be given a prize. So Formula 408, if you are here, sound off, because you might be the winner, because Luke wants to give his prize to you. And if not, we have a lot of the same people here, and all of you have won. So it is not a big deal if we send it out to somebody who has already won. All right, let's go ahead and go back. You, JT, should do a live teach and play of cribbage. I wouldn't be opposed to that. So we'll just have to see if that can come together. All right, let's continue with our second game. Kevin says, hey, Sam, I had some success on making clay game tokens, some failures as well. A lot to learn, but it's going to be a good thing going. That's cool. Being creative is always a fun thing, and that's definitely what that is. Making game tokens from clay is definitely a creative endeavor. So always going to be some failures. Failure is part of success. So, well done. Good, good. I'm glad. What are the best games that use the programming mechanism? I really, over the years, I've come to find out that I really dislike programming as a mechanism, especially if that program can be fouled with by someone else's program. I really dislike that. Robo Rally comes to mind, and that is not one that it best games that uses programming, but I really don't like programming, generally speaking. I don't necessarily mind it, and I can even say I probably have enjoyed it in the past if nobody can mess up my program. But, thinking back, I think that I have generally avoided the programming mechanism because of my disdain for games like Robo Rally, where what you're trying to do can be totally thrown off by what somebody else did, either purposefully or accidentally. Yeah, Robo Rally trauma. That is exactly what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. A lot of the programming games have received bad reviews. I don't own any. Tiny Epic Mechs. 2 words there make me non-interested. Unfortunately, because they're actually a really good company. Nice people. I just don't like... I've tried, and I just can't. I just don't like them. I don't like the Tiny Epic games. I don't know why. I just don't. Lots out there, Alexander says. Mechs versus Minions is good. Robo Rally can be fun. Tamashi is interesting, and it changes the formula a little bit. That I will say, Tamashi was actually fun. I did enjoy that. But I don't know that it's because of the programming. Wings of War is programming in miniatures. Yeah. I guess that's just a little bit, I don't know. You're programming your moves. I get that. You're planning your moves. So, yeah. I don't know. I did enjoy Wings of War. I did enjoy that one. But generally speaking, I think not a fan. Not a fan. All right, second one. Here we go. This one came out in 2020, so it just skirted into an ability to be covered on this stream. 2020 is the year of publication for this one, so it is 5 years old. And a couple of mechanisms here. We have, let's see, let's go with set collection, and let's just stay with the theme, solo solitaire games. So both of these had solo solitaire games, but this one is set collection, 2020. Colonial Europe's Empires Overseas has some programming and is better Risk than Risk. That's not saying much. It's slightly better than Risk and being Risk. That's funny. Village Green, incorrect, Luke. Oh, Comic Hunters. Ooh, good game, but incorrect. I actually know the answer, but I will not say it. You party pooper. Alexander says, On Mars. Tom says, Monumental. Don't Let It Die. Now I have everything that Luke says. I'm going to look it up, I think. Don't let it die. Is that a real game? Yes, it is. What in the world? Don't let it die. A co-op survival game? That actually looks interesting. Huh. I don't like the artwork. Funk, Ajax, Gronk, Vogue, Grub, Tara, Atuk, Nibna. Okay, that's pretty funny. Calico, no. Fruit picking. Okay, Alexander, if it's a cat-centric game, you can pretty much guarantee that's not a correct guess, because I'm usually not down for the felines. Fruit picking, no. Monumental, no. Wild Space, no. Luke says Pizzeria, no. Tidal Blades, good game, but no. Wingspan Oceana. I usually don't do expansions. Merv, the Heart of Silk Road, negative. Deliver Us, Knock Knock. First Words, Dice Fishing, Wild Space, Onirim, Lost in Valhalla. No. Kingswood, also no. Ludnica na Tribinama. Tribinama? Okay, Luke. Jeez Louise, man. All right, Luke, listen. If you don't want it, you just give it to somebody. You don't have to just not say it. But I mean, it is interesting. Some of these games names out here. Goodness gracious. Viscounts of the West Kingdom. Ooh, good game. Yido, no. Come on, don't make me say the correct answer. Gosh. No, I mean, here's the thing, bud. It's like Christmas in November. If you guess both of them correctly, you can give both of them away. And remember, they have to be here in chat. It doesn't matter if they've won or not before. So just if you get it right, you could say what you think it is, and it's not right. How about them apples? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, the 100 Tory. Incorrect. Not true. Hashtag false news. Fake news. Dungeon drop. That is also not correct. Luke, I'm just kidding. You were right. The 100 Tory. And this, my good friends, is actually the base game, not the expansion that I also purchased accidental. Well, yes, it was accidental, but let's face it, I was going to purchase it anyway, so I just got it out of the way. Now, Divergent Paths, which is the expansion for the 100 Tory, is not a 2020 game, so we are not going over this. This, I actually purchased first by accident, because when I played this last weekend, no, not last weekend, last weekend, weekend before last, yeah, I really, really wanted to buy it. First of all, Vincent Dutrait's artwork. Second of all, really enjoy the mechanisms on this one. Also tile placement, and I really enjoy set collection as well. So it was almost like a slam dunk. Now, on top of all that, it's got a solo mode. I played the solo mode this morning, got my butt handed to me soundly. So it's a challenging solo system. So there's that as well. I'm going to put that over there. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on in here. And let's go ahead and take it open. Forgot you just got that. I absolutely did. Really enjoyed it. So let's go ahead and get down to the table. And Luke, you need to work on who you're going to give your stuff away to, bro. That's 2 wins for you today. All right, so here's the rule book. And it does have... Now, I actually purchased from Noble Knight Games. I purchased the Kickstarter edition, which came with a couple of mini expansions for the game. A Koi mini expansion and a Toku mini expansion. And I haven't played either of these or with either of these, so I don't know what they do and what they don't do. But that is that. This always cool when companies show you how you put your game away, even though the storage solution is lackluster, absolutely. But I like it when they give you pointers on how to put the game away so that you can keep it nice and neat. So that's what that is. Now, I have not read through all of this part of the book, but I do love it when rule books do this. They put like a little almanac in the back of the rule book that has all of this really cool stuff in there. Cool information. Learning about Japan. Edo period. Gardens, garden gates, arches, trellises, torii, all of these things. It's really a cool thing that it did this. And then it, have a little thing here, and then on the back it has a little thing that Vincent says. He says, as usual, I have been working with many sources as if I was preparing a docufiction to make sure that the game looks authentic, alive, and exotic. The first steps that I did when working on the illustrations were admirably completed by Lisa's thorough research. The information and explanations that we found give another dimension to the game, close to reality and perfectly in resonance with Japanese culture and history. Such authenticity and precision make the game fresh and to the point, both in form and content, amplifying ambience and immersion in the theme. I still and always work in a traditional manner, pencils, brushes, and painting on paper. This artistic approach allows me to enhance many details in the objects, characters, landscapes, using strong, vibrant colors, creating a peaceful, poetic atmosphere. Painting the 100 torii was a very positive and educational experience. We took extra care to elaborate the game and its cultural echo, and we hope that your eyes and your wits will appreciate this walk in Japanese gardens. Awesome! Love that from the artist. And so I love it when rule books do that. Now, you have a components list set up for a 3-player game specifically, but generally speaking, it's not difficult. Everybody gets 2 coins to start with. They get 2 tiles to start with. 1 goes out here in the middle, and then you're really supposed to make 1 stack of these tiles because that acts as the game end trigger when those are gone. Then you have all of these different scoring tokens that are out here. And generally what you're trying to do is you're trying to lay these different tokens out in such a way that you can trace a path back to a matching token. And when you do that, you're going to get 1 of that kind. But then if you go underneath red torii, you'll get an extra of the one that you chose to score that turn. And if you go under a blue torii, then you'll get 1 of a different kind of item that you didn't choose to score this turn. So you're tracing these paths back to the next nearest matching icon. And whenever you go under red, you're getting an extra of that icon. Whenever you go through a blue, you're getting 1 of the other items. And you're just trying to collect as many of these as possible. When you collect 5, you're able to take the matching icon scoring token, basically. When you get another 5 of the same, you get to flip that over and it becomes 10 points. But on top of that, you're also going to be going after using these different characters that are in the game that allow you to do different things. The vendor will allow you to discard a tile and then draw 2 more. The samurai allows you to place the samurai next to one of these faces of a tile that's already been laid, and then nobody else can lay there until he gets moved. The poet, you can place the poet onto one of the matching tokens, of a symbol of your choice, and that will help you trace a further line or something to that effect, whatever. The geisha allows you to place 2 tiles instead of just 1, but you only get to score the second one that you place. And then the gardener allows you to place a tile on top of a pre-existing tile, but you can only do that to an extent of 1 higher. So once a tile has, or once a spot has 2 tiles, you can't place another one on there. And of course, you can't place it on the starting tile either. And then the solo mode, boy, solo mode, Onatsu is who you're playing against, and this is the little board that comes in the solo mode version. Onatsu scored, I think, 78, and I only scored like 45 or something like that. So it almost doubled my score. I did not do well at all. But I need to play it some more before I really pass a whole lot of judgment on it. But this is a really neat thing. Anyway, that's that. It comes with all of these little cardboard tokens for each of the different types in there. There are lanterns. I don't know what they all... I call them lanterns, rocks, foxes. Let's see, what are they? They're called landmark tokens, but what are they indeed? Inari. Inari are these things. There are foxes are said to be the messengers of one kami called Inari. So that's what these are. These are lanterns. These little guys are stone basins or water basins. These are Sakimori Ishi, arched bridges, and then these little guys are lanterns. Where is it? No. I don't know. These are just like little flower petal thingies. Anyway, you have 4 of each of these things, which are the double-sided. You have 5 points and 10 points on the other. These are... so every time that you use one of the character's special powers, you get to take one of their tokens. If you use them again, you flip it over, and now that's how many points he's going to give you at the end of the game. If you use him again after you've used him twice, you'll be able to keep that, and you also get his 3-point thing, and now so he'll be worth 7 points for you at the end of the game. And all of the different characters have these things on there. And notice that if you turn it over, it doesn't do anything. So this is just one-sided stuff. But these are all two-sided, as well as all of these as well. This is the poet and the samurai, and then these are the tokens that you start with, the money tokens. So everybody starts with 2, and you can use those tokens to purchase the special abilities of these people. Once you have more of these tokens, they become the same as the coins. And eventually the coins are going to go away. And then at that point, you're just using these item tokens to pay for the different characters. So you kind of have to think which is going to be what's going to be advantageous for me to use these 3 tokens in order to do this. Am I going to be able to score more tokens if I do that? You know, that kind of thing. Really, really fun. It's a great little game that plays well at, so far, it plays well at all of the different player counts that I've played it with. So keep that in mind. I really do enjoy this game. It's such that, yeah, it goes like this. It's such that before we had even started playing the game, I was on my phone trying to find it, and I, as I said before, mistakenly bought the expansion first. It's tiling, so it's just like Carcassonne, right? Nope. I haven't played enough to incorporate the mini expansions either. Well, I just got it. I mean, literally, not Saturday, but the Saturday before that. So about a week and a half ago is the first time I played it. And it came in Friday, and I took it to game night at Steamers, and it was the first game that we played at Steamers. So, and then I played it this morning as well. So I've had it for a week and a half, and I've played it 3 times already. And that was across 2 really busy weeks, actually. So I'm really looking forward to digging more into this, and hopefully it will not disappoint, and I don't think it's going to. So those are the 2 games we talked about today. The 100 Tory and Small Islands. Both are very good games. I think I'm a little partial to this one right now because I like the artwork better, and I also like this. This is a really kind of a this is a simple twist on that tile laying mechanism. This is a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say complex twist, but it's less simple than this is as far as what you're trying to do and how you do it. And I like that a little bit better. But anyway, let's see. I wouldn't 3D print the landmarks. You exchange them too often. The Tory could be cool, though. Yeah, maybe. Print a bunch of Tory gates to bling your game. Maybe. That might be an interesting thing to do. That might be an interesting thing to do. I'm going to look in that. Who hasn't won recently? I'm looking for 2 tributes. Have you played Cacao? That's another good tile laying game. No, I haven't. And if I have, it's been so long that I've forgotten that I did. That reboxing sheet is a lifesaver. Yes, it is. It does keep everything. When I got the game from Noble Knight, it had a little bit of lid lift to it, but that's because somebody had used a bunch of little containers for the actual tokens, and it produced a little bit of lid lift. I took those tokens out, just put them in the bags that came in the game, the Ziploc bags, and everything fits fine. But I also do have the expansion, which I don't believe I'm going to be able to fit into the base box. There's no way. But that is that. All right. All right. Hey, let's do this. Kevin, are you still here? Since Luke is still looking for people. Kevin, are you still here? You retracted your message. Speak up, Kevin. Are you here, Kevin? Kevin. Hey, Kevin. 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 Hey, Kevin. Kevin, are you here? Kevin. 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 Hey, buddy. Hey, Kevin. Kevin. Are you here, Kevin? He's probably pissed off now that I keep saying his name. Reason is, we can't just give it to somebody that's not here. Unfortunately, they have to be here so that I can tell them to email me. But again, I know David. David actually won't send me his address, so we can't give it to David. Although now that it's the winter, maybe David will let me send him something. Maybe. Because he's not going to be over here until the spring, generally speaking. So maybe David will let me send him something, for crying out loud. And Kevin, looks like Kevin went away. I could send Tom something. But it's up to you guys. David won't let me send stuff to him. And then he just says, oh, I'll just get it from you at the next Steamers West. And then I forget to bring it to Steamers. And so I don't think I've ever given anything to David. So if we can get David to agree to it, I would love to send him something. Luke says, Tom takes one. You have my address and you have sent me something when I won in the past, but I don't need any more games. I don't recall. I send too much stuff out. All right, here's what we'll do then. We're going to send one to Tom, and we're going to send one to Eric like Tom suggested. How's that? That's what we'll do. All right, so Tom and Eric are our winners this week. And that is that. Making an executive decision. All right. Perfect indeed. I'm out of here. Got to get to, I have the FOBG sticker to prove it. That's good. All right. Well, I got to get out of here. I got to get a review recorded and get going. Did you miss anything? Ryan, you missed possibly getting a prize. We spent the last 5 minutes trying to figure out who's going to get the prizes sent to them. So how about that? Would you like a prize, Ryan? You weren't even here, and I'll give you one. What do you think? What should we do, fellas? Should we give Ryan something? It's all up to you, Luke. These are your gifts. These are your prizes that are being given away. So, send Ryan a roll of stickers? A roll? I don't know about that. Bye, I'll go play some games. You too, David. Take care, buddy. Thanks for being here, pal. All right, Ryan. Here we go. Check it out. Ryan, you need to send me an email with your shipping information. FlipsideOBG@gmail.com. Boom. Send me an email, Ryan. I know you're just horsing around, so am I. I can horse around too. What you talking about? Send me an email, Ryan, or else. There is no else. I don't have a team of ninjas or anything like that I can send. Don't feel bad at all. We're goofing around with you. Send me an email and you're going to get some stickers. Period. End of discussion. Now just do it. I'm out of here. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Come on back tomorrow for a live stream. Solo of the 100 Tory. And then I think on Thursday, we're going to do Small Islands solo as well. Actually, you know what? Tomorrow might be... Jesse and I might play a game, 2-player, tomorrow. And then we're going to do 100 Tory on Thursday, solo mode. Al Hernandez says goodbye. See you later. He might say your name repeatedly for 5 minutes if you don't. No, I won't do that. I already did it once. All right, see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.